earlier this year, the Thai performer Lisa dropped her international debut album, Alter Ego, which resulted in mixed reviews and many pointing out the branding issue with the alter ego concept. And we're not here to talk about that. So, Lisa dropped her album a while ago, okay, I know I'm late. But let's start from before that, when she dropped these gems. Okay, that's right, the character cards for her altars that had everyone cringing. Everyone except me. Now don't get me wrong though, I understand why it was poorly received, but all I saw was a reminder of my old sketchbook from when I was like 11 years old with all my characters. Many of whom were self-inserts, by the way, like self-inserts of myself and people around me, and I don't know, like, I saw the vision, or at least that's what I thought. So, one of the common critiques, outside of the fact that it seemed like something a preteen would make, was that all the characters seemed similar. And when I tell you that I rebuked that particular critique with my entire chest, because did y'all not read these character card descriptions? I saw 5 very distinct characters who could be very interesting to learn more about. So, when I heard she's coming out with a graphic novel about these 5 characters, I was so excited because I would be able to see these 5 distinct characters come to life. So, I actually bought the Alter Ego comic, read through it in one sitting, and was very disappointed. So, the critiques were right. All these characters were basically the same. Very two-dimensional, no distinguishable personality outside of their one gimmick. Actually, even the assigned gimmicks weren't even done for most of them. Like, I thought Vixi was supposed to be this undeniably edgy woman who everyone saw as the villain, but she was the exact opposite. Like, she was really chill and everyone liked her for the most part, you know? But like I said, after I finished reading, I was quite disappointed, particularly because I felt there was so much potential from those character sheets, despite how everyone was clowning them. And then I was like, wait, how about I take a shot? I want to see if I can use these character cards to create my own version of Lisa's 5 alter egos. Why do I feel like I'm about to read some slam poetry? I'm a rock star. Baby, I'm a rock star. And you can call me Roxi. Sit back and enjoy the entertainment of your life. If you know me, you know I live and breathe this lifestyle. Follow me and I'll give you a glimpse into my world. Music is all around me, because it is me. I escape into a world that is electrifying with every stroke of my guitar. This is why I live, is to entertain, always command the stage. Nice. So, the first character I'm tackling is Roxi. In terms of her physical design, she is the one I changed the least. At least for this rockstar version of her, I guess. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. So, in the official comic, Roxi is a rockstar celebrity who is close friends with Vixi. And that's really all that we know about her. So, I'm gonna expand on that a bit. When I think of a character, I think of them as if they're real people, with passions, strengths, flaws, and unique quirks often related to their strengths and flaws. According to the character cards, Roxi is a Leo, and Google said that they are supposed to be ambitious, creative, and a bit eccentric. Since Roxi is supposed to be this musician who says that she lives for music, I thought it would be interesting to make it a little bit unhinged and unhealthy. So my version of Roxi literally loves music more than anything, more than any of the people around her, and even more than herself. She throws herself so heavily into her craft that she won't take breaks. She'll stay up all night writing and composing songs, thinking of new ideas. She'll barely eat and won't sleep until she crashes. Her favorite snack and drink are apparently ghost pepper chips and energy drinks, so I actually thought about connecting that to her unhealthy fixation on her music. Like, instead of her just liking energy drinks, It's more so that she goes through a buttload of them every day to keep herself up and running because between her hectic schedule as a performer and her staying up during her free time to write music, she doesn't really get any rest. Her health is truly in the crapper, and if it wasn't for her team essentially having to babysit her, who knows if she would still actually be alive or not. I also noticed that the original card says that her best friend is her guitar, and I thought that was really adorable in a weird way. So I decided it would be a pretty fun and endearing quirk for her to actually treat her guitar like a person. Like, she'll talk to her guitar and have full-blown conversations with it, which also ends up freaking out a lot of the people around her. As for a potential character arc, I imagine she would start off as this hot mess that I describe, you know, very musically skilled, but also kind of an uncaring slob who struggles to take care of herself and doesn't have any regard for the people around her. But over time, she comes to appreciate those people around her. Most likely, it'll come from something happening that makes her come to the full realization that if it wasn't for those people constantly helping her, that she would probably be dead, first of all, but also she'll likely not even be able to be this successful artist who's living her dream career. Maybe we can even play with her little quirk as a sign of her progression. Like, the more she grows to appreciate and care about the people around her, the less she has conversations with her guitar, because instead she'll actually be having real conversations with the real people around her. Bonjour, I'm Sunni. Charmed, I'm sure. I have a certain je ne sais quoi for sun-kissed days and sea-breezy nights. The beach is my sanctuary, where the golden rays warm my skin and the whispers of the ocean fill me with endless inspiration. There's just something irresistible about the way the waves call my name, don't you think? The second character I'm doing is Sunni. Based on the character cards, Sunni is supposed to be extremely empathetic and compassionate, but also highly sensitive and dreamy, like head in the clouds dreamy. Also, the fact that her songs on the album seem to be associated with softness and love, I also imagine her to be a hopeless romantic type of person. For my imagining of her, I think her strengths would be that she is very much a friendly people person, extremely kind and has a heart for helping people, but she can sometimes be a bit too self-sacrificial and gets taken advantage of. And her incredible empathy, along with a fear of confrontation, can lead her to continuously giving toxic people chances, often to her detriment. I think this can also play into the hopeless romantic aspect of her character. She keeps giving guys who are very toxic and abusive to her chance after chance after chance, and after the relationship is over, she'll kind of just force a smile and a positive mindset to cope, and dive headfirst into the next relationship, ignoring all the red flags. And she just finds herself stuck in this horrible cycle. In the official comic, Sunni gets a really brief flashback to when she was a kid, and it showed that she grew up in a dysfunctional family, and I actually like that as a backstory for her. It would also help explain her current behavior. Her dream is to find a great guy and settle down and have a family that's loving and safe because she didn't get that growing up. But also, due to the fact that she was raised around so much dysfunction and toxicity, she has trouble detecting genuine red flags because so many awful behaviors are kind of normalized in her head from watching her own parents' terrible marriage. And until she truly unpacks that and heals, she'll likely keep finding herself in these abusive relationships. Her card said that her favorite drink is banana milk and her best friend is her cat named Leo. So I included sketches of those, and then I also did this really cute sketch of her as a lifeguard because girl needs a job. She can't just be out here chasing awful men. She needs to afford food and rent, okay? So since her description mentions that she has a love for the beach, I thought she could be a lifeguard who maybe also does surfing or swimming lessons on the side. But yeah, that would more or less be my execution of Sunni's character. Also, I really, really like how this sketch of her as a lifeguard came out. I think it's really cute. If you're looking for me, I'm... oh, I don't have to do these. I don't have to read these. But I'm doing it anyway. If you're looking for me, I'm probably burning CDs or finding something new to obsess over. I live for the thrill. Whether it's the perfect playlist, a late night adventure, or just something that we can chill and chat over, like a game board. Page me, call me, aim me. Just don't leave me on red. Hit me up if you want a Kiki. Please. So, when I started thinking of how to reimagine Kiki and I saw that her biggest fear was not having internet, my mind immediately went influencer. That's her job. She's an Instagram, TikTok girl that gets paid for sharing her supposed life while being beautiful and entertaining. I also think this fits with her quote-unquote Y2K aesthetic, which is really just the Gen Z influencer modern interpretation of Y2K. Neo Y2K, if you will. So yeah, she's one of the top most followed influencers in Neon City. I imagine her to be very impulsive and a bit of a trend chaser, but she also values being unique, so she can sometimes find herself in this internal battle of whether or not to follow all these fleeting trends. She mainly feels like she has to keep up with every trend to stay relevant because that directly impacts her income, but also because she has a genuine insecurity about being overlooked and forgotten amongst the masses. However, this impulsive trend chasing and need to constantly reinvent herself has obviously led to some issues, one of the most notable being her hair. One of the things she blew up for is her hair, which she would regularly experiment with in styles and various colors, but it eventually led to her hair being severely damaged. So she now secretly wears a wig and lies to her audience that it's still her hair, when in reality she got a bob cut some time ago and refuses to chemically alter her real hair anymore out of fear of further damage. If anyone dares enter her comment section to even suggest that her wig is, in fact, a wig, that comment will be deleted with a swiftness. And if the person persists, they will be blocked. They will be blocked. Yeah. Before Kiki meets any of the 4 other girls, her only true friend is Rosalia. Any other supposed friend is either someone she has hired or asked to pretend to be her friend for the sake of her online image, or it's people in her hometown who do know her as her true self, but aren't aware that she's also an influencer. So she has this whole hidden side that she doesn't show them, almost like Hannah Montana. In the comic, she was shown smoking a sort of futuristic-looking pipe, and I just decided to give her a vape instead, since I intend for her to be more Gen Z coded. But yeah, she's actually found a bit of a bright side to her hair situation. It actually made her lean into the Hannah Montana thing even more. When she's off the clock from being an influencer, she removes her wig and makeup, puts on her favorite trucker hat, and goes about living normally without anyone recognizing her. But you better believe when she steps out into the streets looking like the Kiki, she gets recognized by anyone who has access to social media. I think her character arc could involve coming to terms with the 2 sides of herself, leading to her becoming more honest to both her online viewers, as well as the people in her real life who she keeps the second life a secret from. Her drive to stay at the top of the influencer ladder reduces from an unhealthy obsession rooted in insecurity, and she'll find a genuine love for making content, not chasing trends for approval, but just doing what she wants to do and what she's comfortable with doing. It'll lead her to getting less engagement and falling out of the list of top influencers, but she's a lot more at peace. Speedi here, straight drifting your way. Oh. Built for the rush, wired for the win. Hop onto this fast track that's sure to keep you in this ride. I'll give you a new meaning to fast fashion. Tens across the board. Souped up and supercharged. Just install the NOS kit. Try and keep up. While I imagine all of these characters would be funny in their own way, Speedi is who I would make the comedic relief. Based on her character card, Speedi seems to be an adrenaline junkie type of character. She has a fear of stop signs, she drinks mad espresso, and she considers her BFF to be whoever is her passenger at the time. I feel like she just screams wholesome but chaotic. Now, based on this perception of her, the next thing I'm going to say might seem a bit weird, but I want to write her as the only one of the 5 girls who is relatively emotionally mature and stable. This Speedi is practically devoid of any childhood trauma. She was raised in a loving two-parent household, and she decided to follow in her dad's steps, becoming a mechanic as her full-time job. But her love for vehicles goes beyond fixing cars. Her favorite childhood pastimes were watching races and skater trick videos, so she's grown to find her utmost pleasure in those very things that she watched. She likes to go fast, and she likes to do tricks. The downside is that Homegirl is also very accident prone, okay? She's always hurting herself trying to imitate these tricks that she watches, but she always gets back up and tries again. The other girls, whether they outwardly admit it or not, think of her as kind of a cool and understanding older sister, as she's always listening to their problems and giving very sound advice. Some of them even envy her due to the fact that she was raised so lovingly. But on the other hand, she's such a loud, free-spirited mood maker who's friendly with everyone but knows when to put up healthy boundaries. Oh, you've heard of me? Good. I'm Vixi, the one they love to call the villain. My lashes came to slay, so step out of my way. My nails cut deeper than your excuses. I'm too busy living in my villain era. Let the haters hate. So, what's it gonna be? Friend or foe? Are you rolling with me, or am I running you over? I'm sorry, I haven't read these in a while, so I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Oh, but I'm low-key here for it though. Anyway, finally, we're at Vixi, and I changed her character design a lot. I think she was the one I was most disappointed with when reading the comic because she seemed absolutely nothing like she was described as on her character card, both in personality and physical appearance. Like, why is she introduced as an edgelord with an intense black and red color scheme who struggles to maintain friendships, but in the comic, her color palette is primarily made of blues and she's portrayed as a friendly and well-liked person? What happened here? Anyway, I will admit, for my version of Vixi, I decided to lean a lot into the trope of edgy closed-off character is actually just edgy and closed off as a defense mechanism because of all the crap that they've been through. But deep down, they're just hurting. I went all in with the black and red color scheme. I even split her hair down in half to kind of hint at her duality. I also gave her a soft spot for kids. As angry as she is at the world, and as much as she tries to be selfish and live for herself now, she will 100% shelf her rough demeanor for a little while to tend to a child who needs help. The world was always cruel to her as a child, so she does what she can in a moment to make it a little less cruel for other children. In the original comic, Vixi is sort of like a maintenance worker, I believe. She goes to fix people's broken appliances and stuff. I think that's what that is. And I don't know, I feel like I can work some sort of thematic shenanigans in there somehow. Like, she's so closed off and refuses to work on healing from her own trauma, i.e. she's scared and hesitant to fix herself and her problems, but she's so eager to fix other people's problems. And I don't just mean problems with their appliances, but problems with their personal lives, almost like a form of deflection. But because she herself is so broken and traumatized, the help and advice that she offers usually ends up being rather toxic and full of projection, and that can lead to resentment from the person who she tried to help, as they feel like she now made the situation worse. I feel like she would also be kind of uncomfortable around Speedi, since she's aware that Speedi is such an emotionally stable girl who was raised in a wholesome environment, so she can't deflect or project her unresolved trauma onto her in the way that she does with everyone else. Also, Speedi would be genuinely kind, friendly, and supportive to Vixi, which would send her brain into a mess because she's so heavily convinced herself that she can't really trust anyone, but everything else in her is trying to let her know that Speedi is a genuine person that isn't out to get her. Again, lean into that cliche trope, but I think if executed well, her character arc would primarily focus on the obvious thing of learning to truly let her walls down around people who've shown her that they really do care, and becoming more open and vulnerable as she finds a sense of belonging in this newly acquired friend group of the 5 girls. So yeah, that's what I came up with in like an hour or two of thinking of these characters. And I'm just some girl on the internet who enjoys comics, I'm not a professional writer or anything. So I feel like if Lisa and her team had put just a little more thought into these, or maybe hired at least one professional writer, we actually could have had something a lot more compelling than what we got. Actually, I have a... oh gosh. I think I have a new video idea now, and if I actually do it, I'm officially a madwoman because it would be a lot of work. I'm thinking of rewriting the character stories in the original comic. So in the alter ego comic, each of the characters have their own little mini stories, quote unquote, that are supposed to be there to introduce us to them in a way that makes you learn a bit about them as people. And honestly, I don't think they really did a good job at that, so I might take a crack at it. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do this, because again, it would be a lot of work. But yeah, this was a very long video, so if you watched through the entire thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also, check out my online store if you like bunnies or stickers of bunnies. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.